Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Brothers and sisters, the Lord be with you. Reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. The 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain to which Jesus had ordered them. And when they saw him, they worshipped, but they doubted. Then Jesus approached and said to them, "All power in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." The Gospel of the Lord. When they had gathered together, they asked him, "Lord, are you at this time going to restore the kingdom to Israel?" Now, what is this little exchange all about? As Jesus is ascending into heaven, the apostles ask him, "Now, Lord? Now are you going to restore the Davidic kingdom in Israel and drive out the Roman Empire?" Now, picture this. Jesus spent 3 years with these guys teaching them. For 3 years, they have been hearing Jesus say things like, "Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render unto God that which is God. You have heard the commandment, you will love your neighbor and hate your enemies. But what I tell you is, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." For 3 years, they witnessed Jesus pardoning tax collectors, Roman collaborators, Zacchaeus, whom he dined with, St. Matthew, who he accepted as a disciple and made an apostle. Jesus even extolled the Roman centurion for his great faith when he requested Jesus to heal his servant, but said he wasn't worthy to receive Jesus into his house. Jesus marvels at this battle-hardened soldier for his charity and his humility. The apostles heard, I imagine, through the testimony of St. John, Jesus forgiving his executors at Calvary. And they all witnessed the risen Christ, and Jesus spending a bonus 40 days with them, explaining the past 3 years to them. Remember when I did this miracle? This is what I wanted you to learn from that. Remember when I told this parable? This is the point I was trying to make. And yet, after all of this, as Jesus is ascending into heaven, the last time they are going to see him in this life, the only question they can think to ask is, "Lord, now are you going to restore the kingdom to Israel? Now are you going to liberate us from Roman occupation?" Politics. They could have asked him about anything, and they chose to ask a political question. And you just want to shake these guys, don't you? Don't you just want to shake them sometime and say, "What the heck is wrong with you guys?" And note Jesus' response to that. And you can faintly detect in his response the frustration in his answer. "It is not for you to know the times or the seasons that the Father has established by his own authority." First, Jesus' response is a little sharp. It's a little abrupt. The polite interpretation to his statement is, "It's none of your business." But he's really saying to them is, "Will you shut up about this already?" What he's really saying, in Jesus Christ, we probably have the most unpolitical man in history. Politics is the governing of temporal power, financial power, military power. Jesus stands in opposition to all of that. Jesus isn't about acquiring power to control. He's about emptying oneself of temporal concerns to leave more room for the Holy Spirit to control. And you look, and I look at that and say, well, yeah, duh. But how many of us do the exact same thing and try to bend God to our politics? Politics, I believe, has reached the level of idolatry in our country, where we put our politics before God. And you don't have to look very far to see evidence of this. How many Catholics favor abortion, homosexual marriages, fetal stem cell research, nuclear weapons, unrestricted gun ownership? How many Catholics tolerate corruption, deception, and lies from the politicians of their own preferred political party? How many Catholics will continually support their preferred political party on every issue, right or wrong? This is where politics becomes idolatrous. This is where politics becomes a golden calf, or in our country, a golden elephant or a golden jackass, that we place above God. Jesus Christ gave us the only real answer, and it has not changed in 2,000 years. Holiness. If we all pursue holiness in our lives, do unto others the common good, love your enemies, purity of mind, body, and spirit, charity to all, living as a sacred person and striving to treat others as sacred persons, then the world will take care of itself. Then all these social ills that we stress over, poverty, violence, injustice, all disappear. And people have said to me, "Father, you're dreaming. You live in a fantasy world. What you suggest is impossible." But if Jesus Christ is Lord, if you truly believe that, and his word is true, then it is possible, because that's what he taught. And to say otherwise is to call God a liar. Even as Jesus was ascending back into heaven, the apostles didn't get it. And they won't get it until the Holy Spirit touches them at Pentecost 9 days later. Then they finally realized the answer wasn't found in politics. My brothers and sisters, pray with me today that Christians around the world surrender to the Holy Spirit they received in baptism and confirmation, so the Holy Spirit can change the world. And blessed be God forever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.